Alright, so in the last video, we built this giant flyover. Flyover is something that goes over a trail, so that is an indication that there will be a trail that goes underneath. That's not what we're worried about right now. Right now, we're worried about this. Obviously, there's a little bit of sketchiness once you're done with this. And not only that, but this turn right here isn't exactly ideal. It doesn't really go anywhere. So, a lot of you have suggested building berms. A lot of you have suggested a bunch of different things. So that means we're gonna have to haul a lot of dirt. And as you guys know, I'm no stranger to moving dirt. I love doing it. I've done it by hand my whole life. But with the limited lifespan I have and limited career, I'd like to move or excavate some dirt a little bit more quickly. So we're gonna let the cat out of the bag, and I'd like to introduce Smokey's new brother. Meet Diesel. It's a Cat 301.8. It's a short-haired variety. Actually, it's a
301.7.
It's a 301.7. Correction. Did I 308 point something?
301.8.
Oh yeah, it was a 301.7, and it's a short-haired American breed, and it's a beast. So he's gonna help us move a lot of material from here on out. And if you guys have been subscribed to my channel for a while, you would know anytime I passed a small excavator, I always got really excited in my videos, and it's always been a huge dream of mine to own one. So here we are. This is like mine. We're not leasing this. We're not renting this. Like, this is ours. Like, we can do anything we want to it within reason. And yeah, we're gonna move a lot of dirt with it. But I have very little experience in excavators. I've used them before, and I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, and we're going to be learning how to use this together. So, alright, so one of the most important parts about this machine is this thing here. This is called a thumb, and specifically it's a hydraulic thumb because you can move it like you can on your hand. There are variations of these thumbs which are just mechanical, and they're just welded out like this, and you can adjust it with a pin. But this one I can control the in and out with the joystick. The thumb allows you to pick up and grab things like rocks, roots, logs, whatever you name it. Here I'm actually carrying a bucket with me, and without a thumb, these machines, all they do is excavate. But with a thumb, it opens up a whole new world of what you can do with it. And for trail builders, that means placing rocks where you need it, getting things out of your way. So with these small machines, it's actually really hard to find them stock with a thumb. They are usually, especially in like the Kubota models, you have to get those aftermarket. And so once you factor in the cost of getting that installed aftermarket, it gets pretty expensive pretty quickly, which put it right in line with this model cap. So when you're looking at these machines without the thumb, they're pretty affordable, and then once you start putting a thumb on, you're looking at a much more expensive machine. But for trail building, they come in very handy, which is one of the reasons why I had to have it. We have two buckets here. We have this bucket right here, which is the digging bucket. And as you can see, it has teeth. This allows it to pierce into the ground and pick stuff up. But it's not always the best tool for the job. We also have a ditching bucket, which doesn't cut through the material nearly as nicely, but if you're moving a lot of dirt or something, or trying to smooth something out, that's something that you would probably want to use.
Look at its cuteness. Look, perfect at it. Let's dig some dirt.
Let's go dig some dirt. Let's go dig a hole.
Let's go dig a hole.
Let's go dig a hole. Big hole.
I feel it. I dig big hole.
Alright, so one of the first things we're going to do with this machine is we're going to fill in the gap between this feature and the dirt. Before you guys get your pants in a bunch, don't worry. This bottom board has been weather sealed, and the bottom of the stringers have also been weather sealed. But for the record, all this was built with hemlock. So hemlock is rather rot resistant, so we should be good. But again, this is not a house. This is a mountain bike feature. If it rots out, we'll just build it again. I'm not living in it.
Stepping off soapbox now.
Yeah, stepping off soapbox now. Let's take some dirt and apply it to this feature.
First dirt shovel. And throw it. Root. Oh man, it would have taken us forever to dig through. Oh, that's amazing. You've got a big one. Ow. Ah.
Alright, so it got dark, so it's hard to see this, but yesterday we came through and we were able to make a pretty smooth transition. I did this all with the machine. I'm trying to do this whole project just using the machine, which is very frustrating if you're not good with a machine like me. You know, shaping this by hand is one thing, but you know, trying to get the machine to do what you think and not what you tell it to is another thing. So, you know, it's a good learning project for me, so we're temporarily making a nice kind of transition back into the trail. And what I found out is I really enjoy building or digging with this ditching bucket versus the normal digging bucket that has the teeth. Just for some reason, shaping and stuff just makes a lot more sense with this guy. Obviously that's better for digging, but I found that I was making more of a mess with that guy. So once I got on this one, it made the process a lot easier. The other thing that was tricky is here, for example, I kept like sliding down, so I had to keep building up a surface here for me to get the machine on. At one point I actually did get the machine kind of stuck. You can see there's a bit of a mark on the tree right there. And there, I had to cab stuck on the far side of the tree, and the boom was stuck on this side. I literally had to like use the boom and push off of like that area to get the tracks level and then back up. It was, I was afraid that I was actually going to get the machine stuck for a little bit. I don't know, any normal operator would have been able to get out with that, no problem, but for me, this is new, so I'm so glad I got the smallest machine, or the smaller machine, because it's so much more practical in here, and it's insane how much dirt it can move. Like, this would have taken us a week, probably. This is an insane amount of dirt moved. So, okay, let's fire this up and do some more digging. Alright, so right now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to smooth this out to get the machine back up here so I can actually finish this, because like when the ground is at an angle, especially tipping in opposite direction of a berm, the bucket is also tipped in that direction, so you can't shape the things the way you want to shape it. So that's why I'm going through and packing that to make sure that it's nice and level, packed. I can get the machine up here and do a little bit more shaping. But it's going to be a little bit repetitive, so I'm going to throw you guys in time-lapse mode and we can kind of see this process evolve. All right, so we got this all relatively smooth. Obviously, there's a big learning curve with the machine, so eventually I'm hoping that there will be no handwork down the line, but I'm definitely having to go back and clean up my work with tools. So we have some friends, and they are going to be the first guest visitors to hit our flyover, and yeah, I'm excited to hear what other people's opinions on it are. So yeah, let's go send it.
Ready to send. What's that ready? That is wild. Like, my heart's racing. I mean, I always think it looks good when like a good rider can just come and first try clear your line you built.
Basically, if you can drop a curb, you can do this. Like, you don't even have to like
That's really easy. All right.
jump it, because like any speed you go, you'll at least clear to the deck.
Is it easy to stop if I just do the whale tail?
It is. It's like you have to be pretty on the brakes, but it's not terrible.
I'll do it right now. Like, and I've almost cleared it pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty awkward, but that's like hard.
Like, I think what throws a lot of people off is they try to enter this with speed and use the speed that they have beforehand to clear the gap, when you're really supposed to generate your speed from like this goalie.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Like, yeah, so I'll just like pump and pop. This is so fun. This is such a fun feature.
Yeah.
Nice.
You're a little bit closer to casing, but like you got the like the motion better that time.
Oh my god.
That is so scary.
It looks scary.
Alright, the thing about that is you feel like you're coming in really, really fast.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh crap, I don't want to like pull too hard. But by the time you actually go to pull,
You like stopped.
you're stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
it's
you didn't travel forward as nearly as far as you think you thought you would.
Exactly, so
Yeah.
I cased the crap out of it, but I'd rather do that than
Like, and at the
flat
bottom.
bottom.
I feel like you always have to like pump that landing real hard. More than just land on
I feel
it.
like I still braked
Like just
going up.
Just like because you're nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it reminds me of hitting some of the features at Whistler. Or I'm trying, like, even when you go to like a new skate park and they have a huge
Oh yeah.
feature, and like, especially like a spine or like a,
You just like hold your finger on the brake a little bit.
Yeah.
As opposed to like let me take them off and like just ride.
Alright.
That was perfect.
Austin, have you been following us in?
What do you think, Matt?
That was scary.
It looks scary.
I did the same thing. I was like pretty like upright and then like slammed in.
It was so much better. I mean, your first time through, you have to like figure it out.
Yeah.
Definitely better than
Yeah. That time I felt like I like was like, all right, I know like how much speed I need.
Like, I feel like I'm doing it fine, but I feel like I'm like bow-legged trying to suck my...
Suck the bike up. Yeah.
But it's also like you're sucking the bike up, but you also have to point it down.
And but you like you land rear tire, I land rear tire because it's like scary as fuck. Just like, all right, here we go.
Was that landing rear tire?
Your rear tire landed first.
Okay.
Not even just because you cased it, but your rear tire landed first.
And I'm kind of skeptical about like building that. I want to build a lip on like the side, but you'd have to like no break it, and this is not a feature you want to case or overshoot.
Dude, I don't know if you should build a lip.
I don't know, I still kind of want to.
You could try it. The biggest thing with the lip like that is just like, where would you put it? On the left side or right side?
Left side.
Yeah, that's hard. Dude, that thing is, I mean, where would the lip be? Like at the top or like a little lower?
So, see the 2x8s? So like it's 2x4s and the 2x8s.
Yeah.
I'd probably put it, I can move it, that's the thing. So,
Where you put like the third one down.
exactly.
That seems logical versus like 6 down. You're like, oh.
Yeah, and like if you put it at the top, like the chances of you like just dying. But I think like if I do that, like you actually have to commit.
Yeah.
So I have to say, it was really cool being able to do all that work with the machine and then be able to go for a big ride that afternoon. Because if I had done all that work by hand, I would not have been able to ride afterwards because that's a lot of dirt moving. Alright, so with that said, I want to jump back to this feature and clean it up. I know it looks finished, but there's a few things that are not quite done. And so we're going to do that. They're just small, minor jobs. And yeah, so let's get to that right now. Alright, the first thing we're going to go do is we're going to make a lumber storage area underneath this, because this is kind of out of the elements, and this is a good place to store some of these loose pieces of lumber that I'm not using at the moment. So let's go do that. Alright, so there's a bunch of extra dirt here, so I'm going to go ahead and take some of this extra dirt and put it right around the post to make sure that they have some extra stabilization. Alright, now that I'm not climbing up and down this thing, I can go ahead and take care of these. I don't need these anymore. Alright, for some reason I decided to use a 2x4 there instead of a 2x8 like I did there, so that's been bothering the crap out of me, so yeah, let's go ahead and replace that with a 2x8. Alright, evidently I just used basic screws for there, and I want to be using lag bolts, so this is what I want to use. Let's go ahead and put those over there too. And then there's all these like random supporting blocks I put up that I still haven't taken down. So yeah, they're not doing any good anymore, so might as well get rid of them. You finally go ahead and trim this up to size. I don't know why I never did it, I just kind of left it in place. I've left this tree here, and I wanted to take it down a long time ago, but I was really hoping, since it's in really good condition, that we could leave it and build around it. But just with the feature I want to build here and everything going on, I think I've come to the conclusion that we are going to have to take it down. It's not something I really want to do. I really like trees. Let's get our chaps on and see if we can start a chainsaw again.
What's easy about this, though, is the like perfect corridor you have. Just like, boop.
In theory.
Yeah, in theory. There you go.
Alright, so yesterday I took the time to do a little work with the machine to make the trail a little bit wider down there to get the machine down it a little bit more easily. But it was also a good practice exercise for me to get to know the controls a little bit better before I start tackling what we're going to do today. Today we're going to start on our next feature, and it's going to be a jump coming out of the giant flyover we built. So before I jumped into building a jump, I needed to know how to use the machine a little bit better, so that way if I did try to build a jump, it wouldn't come out like crap. So now that I have a little bit more time in the machine, I think I'm ready. So the first thing we need to do is take out this stump right here. The first time I went to go change the bucket, it was a lot harder. Now that I'm like doing it a few more times, it makes a lot more sense, and it's actually pretty easy to do. So, anyway, time to take out this stump. Alright, so that stump was definitely a little bit of a challenge for that guy. But that's fine, I got time, and besides the fact that it would have taken forever to do that by hand, like ever. Anyway, now it's time to move on to building our next feature, and I don't know exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be a jump of some sort, but I need to find out how much material I can get out of. I need to find out how much material I can get out of this area before I determine what size it's going to be. So the next part of the process is going to be me excavating a lot of dirt and piling it into a pile and seeing what we can do with that pile of dirt. So I'm also going to have to worry about drainage, because as I start to dig down here, the water is going to pull up in this area. So drainage is going to be something I need to be concerned about, and probably will need to put in a water bar or something like that. Alright, so we've made a ton of progress, and I'm actually really impressed with how much dirt you can move with this machine. So for reference, I've been running this machine on the lowest power setting, and I've been kind of using it on and off for the past 3 to 4 days. And today is the first day I've had to fill it up with fuel. So I'm actually really surprised by how fuel efficient it is. You know, I thought I'd be guzzling through gas, so maybe once I crank up the machine, it'll like sip gas a lot quicker. But yeah, like it seems to be pretty fuel efficient. So I'm pretty impressed. So yeah, we're gonna go do some more work. Let me bring you along to show you what we've been doing. All right, so there's a flyover. Come down here, and I've made a nice wide berm. It's not super steep, but it should be more than enough for what we're looking for. The idea is I'm trying to excavate as much dirt as possible and bring it down with me to build something over here. Now, I would like to make a trick fun booter style jump here, but that will entirely depend with how much dirt we're able to excavate from the land. So that is like the lowest point right over there. So whatever that land is, I don't want to go any lower than that, because this will allow me to drain it to either there or over there. I don't want to create a pool right here. Worst comes to worst, I can always dig on the inside and then run a pipe. But my goal is to be able to drain this with gravity alone and without using any pipes. Which is a little bit tricky because, as you can see, this is a whole hillside, and when it rains, all of the water is going to want to end up right here. So I've kind of created a catch point for the water. So my hope is the water will go down the edge, and then once we get over there, we'll make that the lowest point before the jump, so that way the water will trickle out that way. That is the goal. We'll see what actually happens once we get to shaping this feature. Maybe we'll have to put it in pipe, maybe we won't. Another thing we can eventually do is I'm thinking about maybe kind of trying to divert some of the water to right there, and then building a little bit of a barrier, then running a pipe from there to over there. That is another option to kind of divert some of the water before it actually makes it here. That might be a good option because berms are notoriously one of the hardest things to maintain. By hardest, I mean they require the most amount of work compared to any other feature. And so, especially for a feature like this, where it's just so much surface, this is going to be a lot of surface to maintain. So I'm going to try to avoid having that much legwork, because once this is done, it's going to be really hard to get the machine in here to do any work. So trying to build as we go. So yeah, I guess the goal is just to move more dirt. Obviously, a bigger machine would make this process a little bit easier, but at the same time, it's a lot harder to get a big machine in here. One of the things that happens with big machines is you tend to just move way more dirt than you need to. So I think the small machines kind of give you some natural limitations about what you can do. So I don't mind working above this guy's pay grade. It might take a little bit more work, but in the end, I think it's worth it. One of the things I really like about working on a machine is I still had all my energy left once I was done moving all that material to go out for a ride at the end of the day. So that's a huge benefit, because since we've been building, I have been riding a little bit less than normal because you get done and you're just exhausted. So it's really cool. That being said, I'm not going to say these machines are completely tireless. If you've ever driven for a very long time, like let's say 6 to 8 hours, and you like get out for your gas break and whatever, you feel that the kind of like stress building up in your eyes or focus, and the relief once you step out. You feel the same thing in one of these machines. It's probably similar to staring at a monitor for a while. You're like so hyper focused at the stuff right in front of you that it does strain. It does add some strain. So it's not like this perfect experience, but yeah. Okay, enough of me rambling. I don't even know if I'm going to put this in the YouTube episode. It's probably going to go into Phil's World episode. Let's get back to building. Alright, before I operate the machine every day, I go through, and each one of these like pivot points here has a grease port that you can grease it, and you know, you'll see grease coming out the side. That means usually you're greasing it enough. So every day I go through and grease it just a little bit. There's tons of grease ports all over. Anything that has a pivot point has a grease port. There's one there. There's one there. There's, I think, one here. So you gotta look all over the place because they're kind of hidden sometimes. I don't think I've actually greased this one because it's when the bucket's down, it's usually hidden. So let's go ahead and do that first today. Alright, so my tripod decided to fall over. I think the camera's okay. Can't wait for this thing to start to take shape. I'm going to have to like kind of look at it from a different perspective to see what's going to look like. A lot of times when you're building, you build a little bit, and then you take a step back, kind of look at it from a few different perspectives to see if it's kind of lining up with your imagination and to make sure it's going to work. So, you know, I've been building here for like 2 hours now, so it's kind of good to take a step back and see what it's looking like. The other thing is, like, right now I'm just moving a lot of dirt. All of this dirt is just like getting pushed back. So I think I moved, the jump used to be in line with that rock, and now it's like way further back, which is good because like now where the excavator currently is kind of going to be where the drainage point is going to be. But I'm also thinking about how to get the excavator out, and obviously I probably could go up and over, but my plan is to probably take out that small tree and go around and then come attack it from the other side. Alright, so of course as I film, the sun comes out, makes this hard to see, but we did some pretty good work here yesterday. I'm at the point where it's really hard to build any higher. Like, this is like starting to like reach the maximum capacity of height that this thing can build at. But I still want to push this mound back a little bit further. The reason why is there's still a little bit more material I can excavate from here to build this up, but the further I push it back, the more elevated the base is, so the more efficient this dirt will be used. So I think my goal is to get the excavator around and up over here so I can pull some of this back. That way I can pull it back, get it into place, and then probably take the excavator back around to do a little bit more shaping over here, and hopefully my goal is to have like the landing kind of in line with this piece of dirt right there. That seems appropriate. And I haven't decided if I'm going to add a wooden lip to this or build it completely out of dirt. That's yet to be determined. I'd like to build it completely out of dirt, but we got a good amount of dirt here, and we can make this feature even bigger if we add some wood features to accent it. Alright, so getting the machine over here might be a bit tricky. It's a little off camber here. And again, I don't know what the limitations of these machines are, so I'm a little apprehensive to get it super off kilter. So I might have to make a little bit of a path for it, but try not to disturb the ground too much. And then, of course, I have to get up this bump, which shouldn't be much of a problem. I know a seasoned excavator could probably do this in like 2 seconds. But anyway, alright, let's get to it. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that was really scary. The dirt's really soft here, so you just sink in. That's why I think next time I'll actually just build a little bit of a path. These things don't like working on soft soil. I sunk in about like, I don't know, 18 inches, maybe not that much. A foot right there. A foot is about 30 centimeters, so yeah, we'll have to build something a little bit more substantial to get around. So let's go ahead and move this pile back. Alright, cool, I got most of the dirt that I wanted pulled back, so now I'm going to try to scoop back around and start pushing the dirt. Hopefully it's less sketchy this time. I might have to make a little bit of a track to make the excavator go around a little bit more easily, because last time I definitely felt like I was getting close to the tipping point, and I know it's hard to tell, but this jump is it's pretty tall. I would like it to be a little bit bigger, but I'm definitely finding kind of like the maximum height I can go with that machine, because there's only so far the boom can go, or the bucket can go. So if I could dig it down a little bit more and make this a little bit taller, I think I'd like to go with that. And hopefully get a little bit more material out of this area. But I'm running into the issue where I need some more material over there, and there's not much area where I can get that material from. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll do something out of wood or something. Haven't figured that out yet, so we're gonna dork around with this thing and see if we can figure it out. I think I determined I'm gonna pack this a little bit more, but I'm gonna bring the machine back around, dig out some more material, place it on top. By digging that a little bit lower, that will actually raise this up a little bit. Well, it's not gonna raise this, but it's just gonna make this taller from down there, and then that should give us a little bit more material for over here. So pack this in, do a little fiddling around, and then yeah. you can definitely see the different layers of different types of dirt. So like up here, you have like the organic topsoil, and then you go beneath that, it starts to become like this, this is a better view, this golden brown stuff. That's very sandy, so it shapes really easily, but it doesn't hold its form very well. And then you go below that, and once you get below where any of the roots grow, you start to get into this clay stuff. And you know, down south you have your red clay. Up here we have more of this like gray clay, and I really like this stuff. It packs really nice. Like look at how nicely this was packing with the machine. It's already pretty firm. Like I barely leave a mark in there. So this stuff's pretty incredible to work with, and there's like no rocks. There's a little bit more moisture content, so it holds its form better. Whereas like this mixture where it's kind of some of like the clay and organic stuff, it's a lot harder to work with and shape. So I'm probably going to come back with a shovel and finish this area off, because I'm not as proficient with the machine right now to be able to make that kind of surface on like this weird off-kilter surface. I'd almost need like a tilt rotator bucket for that. I'm sure a really good operator could do it, but I'm not there yet. So one of the things I'm running into right now is after I shaped this and dug the material out for this, that corner right there is a low spot. So any water that comes here is going to pull up right there. So I need to reshuffle the dirt around to raise that level. So any dirt that comes down here comes down through the inside. Then once it gets here, it trickles out that way. You know, that's why I made this the valley of the jump, because I knew I'd be able to let the water go out that way. I always look for the exit points for the water when you're building features. Alright, so I'm relatively happy with how that works. I'm gonna head back up the hill and kind of regrade this turn to make this nice and polished, and then we're gonna get out here, and then any other work we'll do back hand. Alright, so that looks way better. I'll still have to do a little handwork to it, but it should save us a lot of time down the road. Alright, let's fix up this section right here, make this polished up so we can get the excavator out of here and bring it on to work on the landing. So this looks pretty good. So I'm gonna have to tune the rest of this up by shovel because I just can't get the excavator in here to mirror this angle. It's just the way the excavator is angled, it just can't do that. So we'll leave it as is and head over to the other side and do the work on the back side of this jump. Alright, so I'm at a point where I'm like really starting to run out of material and I want this jump to be bigger than it is. Like, I want it to be like at least a foot longer, and like ideally I want the landing to like be up here. I want it to be like a step up. So I'm trying to figure out what to do. I think my thought is to bring the excavator a little closer and kind of scrape some of this dirt over and make it taper up a little bit. Yeah, that's my go-to thought right now. I do want this to be like a really cool poppy kind of trick jump, but there's only so much I can do. I don't really want to just go around digging random holes everywhere. That being said, this birch is, that guy's dead. I mean, it's still alive up there, but it doesn't have that much longer to live, so I do have some material here, but I think I'll let that fall naturally. So let's see what we can. Alright, at this point it's probably worth explaining what I'm doing because I've been going back and forth a bunch and you're probably all confused. So, this jump wasn't big enough and I can't get much material from this side. So I went back to this side and I'm digging that down and pushing some of it over, material that is. Now, by digging down, I'm not really trying to make this any taller. Or make this any higher in elevation, but what I am doing is I'm lowering the base so the top relative to the bottom is bigger. So that essentially makes it taller without making this piece any taller. That way the dirt that I'm excavating from here I can bring over to this backside and elevate the landing. I'm not sure if that makes any sense to you guys, but if you're wondering what I'm doing, that is what I'm doing. Alright, so I was losing light on this last night, so I didn't really show the end product, but we were able to make this a lot bigger. And this is much closer to what I wanted in the first place. So I'm gonna pull some of this dirt back again. But I really like step-ups. Step-ups are like the best feature in my opinion because they're relatively safe, you can do a lot with them, and they're a lot of fun. I really enjoy being able to see the landing from the takeoff because that helps you judge your speed, and that also makes it easier to do tricks over it in my opinion. Step downs are like the most consequential in terms of features because you can't see the landing. If you overshoot them, you get hurt. But the problem with step ups is they require a lot of material. But here we are. I'm gonna finish this feature, and I want to get some runs in today before the rainstorm comes in. So we're supposed to get some rain this afternoon. But I want to show you guys what this looks like. So I don't need to bring the excavator over there anymore. So I cleaned this up a little bit, and yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with how this turned out because if you remember, the excavator just like digs in and makes a huge mess. So once you're done, it's kind of good to go over and just clean up your mess. Obviously the dirt has been disturbed, so it's not perfect, but we kind of smooth it out. It's going to be fall, the leaves are going to come down on this, and you know, this is going to go back to like nice organic material in no time. And if I ever do need to get the excavator back over here, we kind of built a road, so that's a plus. But I'll show you a trick that I used to smooth this out. This is not my own trick. This is a trick that I've seen on other excavator videos. Actually, the first time I saw it was from one of the builders of the why can't I think of the bike park in Tennessee? That's the name is escaping me right now. Why can I not think of that? Either way, Sean Leader, you pick up the log with a bucket and the thumb, and you can essentially grade it like you have a big bucket. I don't think he invented that trick because I think it's been around for a while, but he was the first person I saw do that. Then since then I've seen a bunch of other excavator operators do that. So I'll show you how that works. But first we need to give Diesel a little bit of a drink because she's thirsty. And the word I was looking for, or bike park name that I was looking for, was Windrock. I don't know why I couldn't think of that, but okay. So I don't know about you, but I think that's a pretty cool little like excavator hack. Again, by no means, I did not invent this. I just saw it and I thought it was a really cool thing. That way you don't have to switch buckets. Like, there's logs all over the place, so it makes the process super easy. You don't have to buy another bucket. So yeah, like these little tips like save you a lot of time, and they're pretty cool, I think. It's also like using your resources that you have available to you. Okay, I'm gonna put you guys in time-lapse mode. I'm gonna finish smoothing this out. Pack this out. We're almost done, and I think once I'm done with this, I can go ahead and session it. Haley, on the other hand, is going to grab a rake and clean that up real quickly. And once that's done, and this is done, I think we're gonna call that good for this video. Well, actually, there's still one thing I want to build for that I said I was going to build that I guess I still need to do. Okay, we'll come back to that. Yep. What? No, you do. Cool. I think it's ready to hit. Alright, so we're ready to go hit the jump, but I realized we never finished making this sketchier, so let's do that really quickly. I want to make a little bit of a lip so you can gap this, and so it'd be a little bit of a step up into the really steep landing. And the reason why that's sketchy is because if you come up short, or if you go too far, there's a good chance that it won't end well. The landing and the curvature is steep enough where if you case it, that's not good. But if you go too far, you'll obviously land like really far down, which is like a 14-foot drop to, well, not a fun landing. So that's why making this sketchier, well, making it a little lip for this will make it super sketchy. But I do want to make good on that promise, because the initial plan for this feature was to have a lip, and I never finished it. So let's go do that really quickly. It's funny, once you put the decking on, it looks a lot steeper.
You're going, wee! I say we should take that tree branch out.
I don't think I'm gonna pop that high.
And if you go that far out, I guess, then too, it's not a very good thing. I don't think that's such a good idea. In the grand scheme of this feature, that lip looks very tiny. What about up here?
Alright, so I'm not sure if you can hear that, but it just started raining, and this is an hour before it was supposed to come. So before I hit that crazy sender, I'm actually kind of skeptical about how that lip is right now. It's actually steeper than I was expecting, so I might readjust that before I actually hit it. We're gonna go to the top, hit it, but we're gonna hit the, we're not gonna hit that lip. We're gonna hit the dirt jump we just built. So.
To the dirt jump.
Ooh, that's soft. It seems to like be the right size.
Yeah, it works pretty well.
So I want this jump to be, I didn't want this jump to be big. I wanted this jump to be kind of short, but a little bit poppy. So it's gonna take me a few tries to get to know its speed, especially as it packs in. But I'm pretty happy with how it feels, because it's not a jump where you're that scared to like try things. And I want this to be kind of a trick jump where I can practice stuff. So yeah, I landed really far that time.
Whoa!
I forgot about branches.
Me too. Until I heard the tap.
It's actually scary to come into this like so fast and not hit your brakes. It's not a big jump, so I'm worried about like way over clearing it, not popping enough. But alright, let's give it another go. I barely hit my brakes, but then like I just
Dead,
froze up.
dead sailor. I wonder if like we're gonna have to make it longer.
Like, you come into this so fast. It is insane how fast you're coming into this. I just need to get a little bit more comfortable with this before I pop it.
Is it not being able to see the backside, like spotting your landing?
No, I know the landing's like not super steep, but I know it's not like super mellow either. Like this is a pretty easy jump to jump. If you're trying to boost it, it's super fun, but it's also like when you're coming in with as much speed as I am right now, if I were to boost it, I'd go really high. And if I didn't pull back enough on the takeoff and didn't break into it, I would land super far flat.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you have to commit, but it's really hard to commit because it's just very scary. It's like, it's defying your intuition.
Am I in your way?
Not right now. I need to put something there to mark the edge.
Oh, yeah.
Because I knew as I was going off, like, I was coming very close to that edge.
Yep.
Man, I'm so, like, scared of threes.
Well, you're also rotating in a fairly tight corridor.
That is true, but if there's one trick that I've never been comfortable with is 360s. Something about them just like mess with my brain.
Good save.
Yeah, I compensate by... Oh, I bent my lever.
The tree might just have to come down.
Yeah.
The stump can stay to help give structure, but the rest of the tree...
I want to spin it, but I'm not comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Because in order for me to feel comfortable, I'd have to have this landing go out another 3 feet.
Yeah.
Or 2 feet. I think if I spun the other direction, it'd be a different story because I drift in the direction I spin, and so I'm trying to overcompensate and go straight, and that's why I just went into this.
Yep. That was great.
Okay. I don't know, I'm having a really big mental hiccup that I don't do these.
Yeah. You've only really ever done one once, and it was at school on a step up.
I've done, yeah, I would say I've done a few, done 3 good ones.
Mm.
Oh. I don't know how extended I look, but I don't feel like I'm extended at all.
You extended your bike.
Am I just crouched?
Yeah.
Let me see. Nice tire tap, Phil.
Yeah.
I felt like that was more extended, but I didn't feel like it was good.
Yeah, I think you have a, you need to be able to link up when you extend your back legs, the rest of your body doesn't quite know what to do, and vice versa.
Well, here's the thing. I know this jump's too small for this.
Oh.
So like I'm the thing that I'm worried about is what happened is like my back tire catching. Alright. I want to get a good one, so. Okay.
That was your best yet, for sure.
It could be better, but I don't know.
That was your most controlled and extended.
It felt good. I'm like, it's a few things. I'm still learning the jump, and I haven't done this trick in a while, so.
Get boosty!
Alright, dropping in.
Whee!
Yeah, once you start going that high, it's a little on the short side. Okay, I'm happy with this. For my first jump that I've built with a machine, that I think we did 99% of the work with the machine. I'm impressed. Like, don't kid yourself. You see the people who are really good at operating these are not easy. It's not like you can just take these into the wood and like know what you're doing. There's you know, you get behind it and it's a whole other beast. I felt like I did pretty well. Like, I don't think that most people would be able to do this on the first try. So in that regard, I think this was a big success. But I do have some things to learn, and we might have to come back and revisit this jump down the line. But I think we'll keep it for now until we decide that it definitely needs to be changed. But yeah, I don't know, should we take a look at that kicker?
It's lippy.
Yeah, it's really lippy, and I wanted it to be lippy because that will send you more up and less far, so there's less of a chance of you landing flat bottom. But the issue with that is you really have to commit, and I don't know, it's one of those things where I don't know if it's gonna work out or not. It's been scary just to try to jump this as is. Alright, let me jump this as is to show you what I mean.
Climbing up this and sticking my toes in the holes while filming is probably not the greatest idea.
That's a little bit of a case. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna overshoot the crap out of it, but I just barely make it. It's really deceiving. Yeah, there we go. It's so scary. It's really scary. Alright, let's go check out this thing.
Shoot for the moon! Oh man. Like, it didn't feel like you were riding into a wall enough before.
Not as bad as I was expecting.
Okay, that's good. So I assume you cased it on purpose?
I'm warming up to it.
Yeah. I feel like it is the same kind of trajectory as if you just jumping it on yourself, but it helps you get there.
I think you're right.
Because it looked similar. This never happens to me while I'm riding, only while I'm walking. I swear I'm better on 2 wheels than 2 feet. This thing sniped me. I am full on just gushing right now.
My tire roll is coming into it.
No way!
Um,
It's soft at the bottom.
yeah, film it from the side once.
Okay, good job.
Oh, that felt good. Scary.
Ah. great. Let's see a celebration wiggle.
That felt really good.
That looked really cool.
Oh, it's, knowing how steep the landing is, it's really hard to tell yourself to commit to that lip. Oh my God. That's like the scariest small jump in the world. It's like 2 feet long, but like 20 feet tall.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank goodness for dense trees and it's not wet.
Yeah, the landing of the jump's wet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I hope that was entertaining. If you guys like these build videos, well, you're going to be seeing a lot more of them as I learn how to use that excavator. We have a lot to learn, and I'll take you guys along with the process. As always, my name is Phil Metz. Thanks for playing bikes with me today. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Alright, don't think I was lying about this rain. It's not pouring in here, but it's probably pouring once we get out of the woods.